Hi everyone, welcome back to Sunday School Online. So this is a special week this week as it's Mother's Day. Hopefully you haven't forgot, and if you have, quickly press pause, go make your mum some breakfast and make her a card or give her your card. If you have remembered, brilliant, and hopefully you've already watched Alice's talk and know that this week is on Sarah, and Sarah was the mother of Isaac. So it works in well this week. So I've got some crafts and activities about Sarah and Abraham and Isaac, and then I've also got a special little Mother's Day baking thing at the end. So keep watching for that. So some of the resources that you will need this week are a straw or a paintbrush, some glue, some yellow or white paint, scissors, some sand or sandpaper, your mom or dad might have that somewhere, some dark blue or navy or black coloured paper or card, the resources printed off from the download button, and some colouring pens or pencils. I think that's everything. Okay, so the first activity that we have this week then is a colouring sheet. So this one is Isaac the son of promise, and we can see here God keeps his promises. And if you remember, whenever we did about Noah, it was about God keeping his promise for Noah, and yet again in this story God keeps his promise to Abraham that he will have a son. And we have Abraham and Sarah and little baby Isaac, and you can also see the stars around to remind us that God told Abraham that he will have as many descendants as the stars in the sky. So if you want to colour that in nicely and then put it on your fridge or up in your room or somewhere. The next activity we have this week is a spot the difference. So it's a picture of Abraham and Sarah and Isaac, and there are 12 differences for you to find. So if you get stuck, let me know. But yeah, try and find all 12 of them. The next activity then is a word search. So it's pretty straightforward, word search, words along the top, try and find them in the box below. The next activity then is this one that you'll print off from the download button. So there's a picture of Sarah and Abraham, a tent and a moon. So if you want to colour those in and then cut them out nicely. Then you will need your blue or navy or black coloured paper or card, and you will also need your yellow or white paint and a straw or a paintbrush. So there's two different ways to do this. One is slightly messier than the other. So first one, which is the not so messy one, is pour your paint out into a little tub or plate or whatever. And then you get your paintbrush, and if you actually turn it upside down, so you've got the other, like the wooden end or the plastic end of it, dip it in the paint and then put dots onto the card. So what we're going for is stars. So if you see here, this is the one that I used the paintbrush for. So I just dipped it in the paint, dot, 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 dot. And see if you can do lots and lots of dots so it looks like lots and lots of stars. The other way to do it then is maybe if you're a bit older and use a straw. So what I did was pour out the paint again, put your straw in it, then lift it out and then blow. And whenever you blow, some of the paint will come out and splatter onto the page. Now you have to remember, blow, don't suck, okay? Blow. So nobody wants paint in their mouth. So blow it out, and it actually, I'll show you the one that I have finished. So it looked more like stars, I thought, more like the solar system. So I did some white and some yellow, and it came out really nice. Then what you need to do is, if you're using sand, then once the paint's dry, try and do the stars all over the page. Once the paint's dry, then use your glue to create like a strip along the bottom, make it wavy at the top if you want, and then either dip it into sand or pour sand over it so it sticks and it looks like Abraham and Sarah walking on sand. Or if you're using sandpaper, what I did was just cut it out, cut a wavy line along here and stick it onto the page. Then you use your cutouts from earlier and stick them on, so you can see Abraham and Sarah and the tent and the moon. And I know this week is about Sarah being a mum, but we have to remember that Abraham was waiting all those years for baby Isaac, but so was Sarah. Sarah had to wait all those years for baby Isaac as well. And whenever Abraham left his home and moved, so Sarah went with him. So she had to have faith in God as well. She didn't just stay behind and said, Abraham, go you on ahead. Sarah went with Abraham because she had faith in God too. Okay, so you can stick that in your room nicely or somewhere. Then our last activity is our Mother's Day bake. So it's pretty straightforward. I didn't want to do something overly complicated, and mine aren't the neatest. So what we're going to make are some crispy buns. So for this activity, you will need some sprinkles, preferably pink or whatever. If you don't have sprinkles, don't worry, they're not necessary. Some pink food colouring. If you don't have pink food colouring, don't worry, it's not necessary. Some chocolate, white chocolate preferably, but if you don't have white, use milk chocolate or dark chocolate. If maybe your mum prefers darker milk chocolate, so you can use that instead. You will need half a bag of marshmallows. That's a 190 gram bag, so have a bag of those. And you'll also need some krispies, Rice Krispies. And last thing then, you will need some cutters, like cookie cutters, hearts or stars, or I thought if I had a flower, it would be nice. You can make it in the shape of a little flower, but I didn't have a flower one. I just had hearts and stars. If you don't have a cookie cutter, don't worry, because I've did a couple that are just a square, so it's fine. You can just use a knife. So what you need to do is you need to get 200 grams of chocolate in this bar. So I used 80 grams of Rice Krispies. So you melt your chocolate in the microwave or on a bain-marie, like in a bowl over some boiling water on the hob. Get your mum to do that. Microwave's just as handy, but make sure you don't burn it. Just put it in for a little bit, bring it out, stir it, put it in for a little bit, bring it out, stir it, just till it's melted. You don't want any burnt chocolate. Okay, so once your chocolate has all melted, then put your Rice Krispies into it. Then you get your marshmallows. So half a bag of marshmallows. I use the pink ones out of this bag. If you are using big ones like me, then cut them into 4s or 6s. Scissors works best for that. If you've got the little mini marshmallows, then that's great. You don't have to cut them up. So mix the chocolate in with the Rice Krispies, then mix in the marshmallows, then put it into a tray. If you want, you can put greaseproof paper at the bottom just so that it doesn't stick, and flatten them out on the tray. Then leave them to set. You can put them in the fridge if you want to. And just before they're set, then get your cookie cutter and press this as many times as you can without overlapping into the Rice Krispie tray. It's better to do it just before they're set. I waited until they were actually set and it was quite hard to push it down, so you might be better to do it just before they're set and then leave them to set in the fridge. So then it's time for you to decorate. So if you have any extra white chocolate, then mix it with a little bit of pink food colouring if you have some, or red, or maybe your mum's favourite colour, and it will, you know, turn that colour, and then you can decorate it. Or if you have some sprinkles, or some of mine, because I made them with white chocolate, then I used milk chocolate to decorate them. So I'll just show you a couple. So this one here, I did a big heart and then put mum on it and put some little balls over it. This one was a heart, and then I used a milk chocolate heart and then another pink heart in the middle. Then this is an example of one. If you don't have a cookie cutter, then just cut it out in a square. Maybe get your dad or an older brother or sister to do that. Just cut them into squares and then you can decorate them nicely. There's another square one there where then I just used a wee heart shape to do the sprinkles in the middle. If you're making them for your gran, I have some here, little tiny ones, and put G, R, A, N. So make them all nice. I'll put a wee picture at the end to show you all the different ones that I made. And then if you have some star cutters, then you can make stars, and that will remind you about Sarah as well, how God said that Abraham and Sarah were going to have as many descendants as the stars in the sky. So if you give one to your mum, you can tell her this. If you have a star one, you can give it to your mum and tell her the story of Abraham and Sarah and little Isaac, who was the beginning of lots and lots of descendants. So I hope you enjoy making that to bake today. I'll put the instructions on the internet just so that you can follow them if you are going to bake them yourself. And I hope you enjoyed all the other crafts today. We'll be back again next week. I hope you have a really good week. Don't forget to watch the prayer, sing along to the song, do the quiz if you haven't already, and I'll see you next week. Bye.